All right, let's bring in our guest. He's a Super Bowl MVP, a member of the New York Giants Ring of Honor. You can currently hear him on the Sims Complete podcast, where each week he dazzles us with his NFL expertise while threatening to send his co-host son Matt to his room without supper. He's got both a golden arm and a golden head of hair. Phil Simms, welcome back to the show.
Oh, I like that. Yes, that was great. Thank you, Sal. Man, finally getting some respect. My damn sons, they don't show me none.
You deserve it. You deserve some respect. And you know
deserve and
what?
getting are two different things.
That's true. That's true. I'm wondering if the NFL deserves some respect for getting the offenses back in sync. Am I speaking too soon? But I feel like when I was watching that early slate of games in the 1 p.m. window, where we're now usually used to, two quarterbacks having like 45 yards passing at halftime, there was a little bit of an offensive explosion. Am I just, is this hopeful thinking, or is this about where it takes a turn in the season?
No, it's hopeful. Yes, it's good. And many things. Now the offense is getting in more rhythm. It takes, to me, a lot longer for the offense to catch rhythm than it does the defense. And maybe the biggest thing, even when I was in the league, I always used to think, man, if I make it through week 4, I'll be okay. Because those first 4 weeks, everybody on the defensive side, they're as fast and as fresh as they're going to be all year long. In the NFL, it's true. It really does slow down. And like I said, it did back in my day. Sometimes you'd play a team, let's say week 1, it's in your division, and then you play them week 11, you look at the tape and you go, damn, what happened? It's amazing to see the difference. So I think we're seeing that in the NFL, and the quarterbacks are just getting in rhythm and they're all playing. We got a lot of quarterbacks playing well.
Okay, so now that said, we've seen a bunch of quarterbacks struggle, backups, starters, proving they're having a tough time stepping up. I want to talk to you about like backups in general and how. Why do you think a team like Miami, who is used to Tua's, having been injury prone, why don't they go out and sign a Joe Flacco? Why don't they have a capable backup there? And Joe Flacco, I think they got him for $4.5 million. My part 2 to that question is, are we going to see it where a backup is making as much as a premier running back in this league?
I think it's coming. I do. The perfect backup for Tua would be Bryce Young. As soon as it happened, I thought about it. Boy, it'd be interesting if they had a quarterback just like Tua, which they don't have, and we'll see how it works out for him down the road.
He has a brother, Tua, who has been in the college ranks for 14 years. I don't know if they could pull him out. I'm not sure what the rules are with that. I feel like we could see that any day now. And something that could really reshuffle the order is the Raiders said earlier this week they're open to trading Davante Adams for a package. I think that would include like a 2nd-round pick and additional compensation. I feel like Al Davis would never trade a division rival, but what about Mark Davis? Would he send Davante Adams to the Chiefs?
That's a good question. Well, first off, can the Chiefs with their salary cap get it? I was looking over a bunch of stuff. They can afford it.
I think it'd be tight, but creative accounting says that they could pull it off.
Yeah. Well, listen, do what's best for your team. So if the Raiders, it's going to be about money because Davante Adams, his guaranteed money, I think, is up right now after this year. So he's looking for some reinforcement, whatever, because of all these guys, what they signed for. But I would not be afraid of pushing him to the Kansas City Chiefs if I think it's really good for my team. 2nd-round pick, if it's that, saving money that we can spend on other people. And, of course, it'd be a great move for the Chiefs. But that wouldn't shock me. And I don't, the Jets, everybody keeps talking about the Jets. Well, they come here, it's money again. And I guess you do it because it's desperation. Because if you don't win, you're going to be looking somewhere else for work when this is over. So, the New York Jets have to win this year. So I wouldn't doubt if they're going to be in this heavy. And if they have to, they'll make whatever decision they think is going to give them a chance to win in the short term, not long term.
I just look at Davante Adams' body language, and he so clearly doesn't want to play with the Raiders. And does this, as a prospective employer, bug anybody, or do people say, well, we've seen enough out of the real Davante Adams, so we don't care about this attitude or this perceived attitude?
No, yes, that will turn some people off. When that thing that Peyton Manning, the receivers last year, when I watched all that, I kind of saw he wasn't satisfied at times out there with the Raiders. And so this doesn't come as any surprise to anybody that follows the NFL. and why he would be frustrated, and a lot of things going on, but I'm sure he'll be moved somewhere here soon.
Speaking of frustrations, I mean, I had high hopes for the Jaguars. I thought they came back. I thought they'd win that AFC South. I thought Houston was a little bit overvalued, and boy, was I wrong. They are now 0-4, Jacksonville. Trevor Lawrence's ninth consecutive loss, and obviously Doug Peterson's ninth consecutive loss. How much of a leash does Doug Peterson have? I feel like if he loses home against Indy this week, I don't even think he needs to renew his passport for London. I think he's done.
Wow. I haven't thought of it that way. You could be right. I know
10 in a row. What's he going to lose? 13 in a row? 12?
I know. It's just, listen, unless it's a tremendous turnaround, he's going to be gone when the year's over. I don't know if it does you any good unless you think there's somebody on the staff that's totally different from Doug Peterson, who's going to bring a different personality and a different way. And that can change pretty quick in the NFL. I thought against Houston, they played extremely hard and they played tough as hell. And my question to that would be, where's that been? Why didn't we see this before? And then Trevor Lawrence, I never got into this generational talent thing. I never said it. I never believed in it, anything. But just throwing the football, and I always say this, you can't miss routine throws in the NFL. You just can't. When you're a professional quarterback, you're making more money than, the money is huge. But so you got to hit him, and he's been off target this year. And I can see why there's something he does physically throwing the ball that causes him to overthrow sometimes, and it's really backfired on him.
Oh, I thought you were going to say his hair is getting in his eyes, and yet that as a concerned father, I'll get to you. Yeah,
I met Trevor Lawrence this offseason, and the hair was unbelievable. It really
it has to stay.
But the other thing is, I could not get over how big he is.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my God. I was like, he was answering questions. I'm going, man, you're big. That's all I keep thinking. He's wide shouldered. He's just a big dude. And he has all the talent to be a true franchise quarterback. But man, there's more to it than just doing that. Are you affecting the team? I always say this, and I was taught this by Bill Parcells. Hey, Sims, you can have more influence on the team besides me. That's next. You got to do what you're supposed to do. Lead the guys, be tough when you got to be, all this other stuff. And you need to do that too. And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence, if that's in his personality to be that guy.
Phil, I want to talk about MetLife because if fans went to both games, the Jets and the Giants on Thursday against the Cowboys, and then the Jets home against Denver, they saw the home team combined for 8 field goals, no touchdowns, and 2 losses. And it got me thinking. I used to think, wow, there's just too many teams at the Meadowlands. Meadowlands shouldn't share 2 teams. I'm now thinking they should add a third just to have a better chance of winning.
It's rough. I don't know what to say. First and foremost, this stadium, and I don't mean this, I don't want to be mean about it. It just has no personality. So the stadium is just not, I don't know. It doesn't excite me at all. And even when I'm there as a fan, as I watch games or whatever, not that has any, but it's early. But when you're a team fighting to find wins and you lose close games, man, that can change the whole season.
Do you think this Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh thing is just the New York media trying to create something, or is it just, are there real issues and tension between them? Now, this week it's about the snap count and the cadence and stuff like that.
Well, look, ever since Aaron Rodgers has been there, every day he's drawing people off sides in practice.
Sure.
And there's nobody likes a free play more than him. And that's his big thing. So, it's not Robert Saleh kind of bringing it up. I think he kind of wishes he wouldn't have said anything because that's
why would a coach have a problem with that? That is like one of his superpowers, as you said, Aaron Rodgers. What could his beef be with that?
Well, the beef is they had 5, pre-snap penalties. That's and and it's not always just, the snap. Denver's defense is a blitzing machine. They're fast. They can cover. I think that had something to do with the pre-snap penalties.
You've done it all. Obviously, well-established, renowned quarterback. You go to the booth, you do the color commentary, you've done the studio stuff. I'm going to defend Tom Brady a little bit, who has been said to have gotten off to a rocky start. Is it the worst thing in the world to say he just might be a better studio guy?
Oh, no, it's probably not the worst thing. But when you're a studio guy, you got a lot of time to think about what you're going to say. And which is sometimes, to me, it made it worse because I got 4 things. Which one do I pick? I don't know what the hell. And but doing the games, man, to me, there's nothing like doing the games. So I watched the first game of the year and I thought he did okay. And I keep reading that he's doing better. So I kind of liked he had a little scuffle with Baker Mayfield last week. That was pretty cool.
About having fun. That was interesting.
Yeah, Baker. I mean, come on, Baker. The best thing about Baker Mayfield, I really like him as a player, his personality, what he does for a football team. And Todd Bowles was asked, how do you explain Baker Mayfield? And he says, well, if I told Baker to go over there and stick his face into the fan, he would. And I said, that says it all. That's Baker.
He's not a smart person. Is that what he's saying? Oh, yeah.
Hey, you can be too smart. Let me tell you. So,
right. So now back to Brady real quick. So he'll now always constantly compare it to Bill Belichick, who now has 15 jobs commentating on football during the week, which I think is great. Gun to your head, is he back coaching next year? They've been talking about the Eagles, some other spots he could, even for my Cowboys. What do you think? He's back in the saddle?
I would say, if I had to say yes or no, he'll be back in the saddle. Yes.
Interesting.
It'll probably be a pretty good job. It's a team, one of these teams that we have high expectations for. If it falls apart, look out. Bill Belichick could be coming in, and man, will that change? Wherever he goes, it's going to be a stark contrast, that's for sure. And
I'm trying to think. So we're not talking about 8 or 9 teams. There's really only a couple options, right? Yeah. So I don't know if Jerry Jones, listen, to me, it's just like he just doesn't want to share credit. He'd rather not win a Super Bowl than share credit. So I don't know if that would very much surprise me. The Eagles, I think, would make more sense, I guess. I don't know.
No, I mean, come on, walk it. I don't want to say fire Nick Sirianni. I don't want to get into that and all that now. But if he walked in there, boy, that's walking into about as good a place as you could ever walk into as a head coach taking over for somebody. I mean, Philadelphia would love him because he's ornery and as mean as all the fans are down there. So,
right.
Man, I'll tell you, Sal, it was real. Playing down in Philadelphia, of course, they were wickedly tough on defense with, Jerome Brown, Reggie White. Oh, my gosh. But the fans were tough, too. And it's got to be a great place for players and a coach when you have success, that's for sure.
Yeah, whatever the fans threw at Belichick, he'd pick it up and throw it right back, I think. So, yeah, you got a nice match there. All right, listen, I want to give you, before we get to the conundrum, I want to give you a free bet for the rest of the season. I'm actually going to put this in for you on FanDuel. It could be an award. It could be a team to make or miss the playoffs or even the Super Bowl, my treat.
Let's do the AFC champion.
Okay, AFC champion. So I'm going to go to conferences. And all right, so yeah, we discussed this, right? So the Chiefs are a 3-1 favorite. Then you have the Ravens behind them plus 370 and the Bills plus 410. You want to go down the list a little? Texans 550. Jets, then you get double digits. Jets are 14-1 and the Bengals 16-1.
Texans would worry me.
Yep.
Texans would, I could see that. No, I want the Baltimore Ravens.
You do? Okay.
Absolutely. I think they're going to continue to get better.
I know. And my thing is always, well, look how hard Derrick Henry is going to be to tackle in January. He's averaging 170 yards the last 2 games on the ground. And it's the calendar just flipped to October. Very scary.
I think the big thing there is everybody was moaning and groaning. You got to run him more and all this. No. I saw him in Tennessee. Almost every one of those years, he was ran out. By the time they came to sometimes in the playoffs. Because they just used him so much to win games. And Baltimore wants to do that. They're going to, they know how to pace him. It wouldn't shock me somewhere in week 9, Derrick Henry's not playing this week.
Interesting.
It wouldn't shock me. John Harbaugh is pretty smart and got a great feel for all that stuff. And, man, he knows how to manage players.
Phil, before we let you go, we have one last question. This is called Cous's Conundrum.
Cous's Conundrum.
Ooh. All right, you ready? Here's the conundrum. It's something I don't think you've ever been asked before, but you could tell me. You are one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. So you are given 3 footballs. and you must throw them through a tire from 10 yards out. You've seen this carnival game, right? You get 3 balls, throw them through a tire.
Sure.
If you make all 3, you get a stuffed animal, and that animal is stuffed with $10 million.
Damn.
But if you miss even one,
right,
once a month for the rest of your life, Lawrence Taylor sacks you out of nowhere. You don't even know when it's coming.
Right.
Do you take the deal?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Not even thinking. I mean, sign me up.
So is this an indictment of you know you're going to nail the 3 throws, or you don't think Lawrence Taylor's tough and you don't care?
I would be very surprised if I didn't throw all 3 right through it. And I might even do it underhanded. That's how I throw the ball.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But Lawrence Taylor, it's worth taking a hit from him. And he always said, Sims, just once. Just once. I go, yeah, but you can't.
If you miss this tire throw, he can once a month. In fact,
as long as I don't know what's coming, it doesn't hurt as bad. Just wipe me out.
Right. So, that's when people get hurt. They tense up. Right.
Oh yeah. But that's a pretty damn good one. But I mean, for real, I would take it.
I'm going to try to set it up. I know some carnival guys, and
it's just going to stay there. 10 yards. 10 yards.
10 yards. Yeah. 10 yards. But think about the fear of Lawrence Taylor. I mean, he might be ready right there to sack you right as soon as you miss.
Reggie White crushed me many times. Jerome Brown, Richard Dent, Charles Haley.
Right.
Okay, Lawrence might be the best of all of them, but maybe I can't take it like I used to. I'm a little too old.
Well, we'll see. We're going to get this going. We're going to.
Oh my gosh, this will be hilarious. Of course, I'm going to do the tire thing, but there's no way we're going to have Lawrence hit me, so I'm all in.
Well, Lawrence will hear about this, and they'll be at your door before you know it. Before this interview's over.
Oh my God!
All right, listen to Phil and Matt Sims every week on the Sims Complete podcast. Phil, you are the best. Thanks for being here.
Sal, thanks for having me on. A lot of fun, and good luck to you too.